Hello everyone. Tech Info is back with another video to create insights into migration. So this is initial video where we set up things to understand in detail about the application. So I created one before another video where I explained. Let me go back to those slides. So what I have explained it. So I started that I got a feedback from students and they want to understand things on migration a bit more in depth. So I am leveraging the feedback and comments from various students, what exactly they want to learn into migration. And also, as per my experience, I am adding on the top of that to consider all those aspects of application migration, application aspects and application information that should be really helpful for a smooth migration. So I was running through these slides in my previous video. If you have not seen that, you can go to that previous video and how it will help you uh, help with various roles uh, like technical project managers, cloud architects, delivery managers. If you are looking to work into cloud projects, this will be really helpful to enhance your knowledge. So other benefits I have explained in the previous video, how you can leverage this knowledge into your existing projects, and that will help you in handling the projects with more expertise, with more confidence. So what I discussed is the overall scenario. What I am presenting in these videos is that holistical approach for migrating the production applications, what all things should be kept in mind. So here I'm talking about gathering the information, what all things should be kept in mind. So all these things I covered in my previous video. So this was the agenda of overall videos that I'm creating, understanding objectives, so choosing right migration strategies, application, assessing the application, gathering information for application, how to design target reference architecture. Because when we are talking about target reference architecture, all these things are how they are created. The target reference architecture is created based on the information that is gathered. So the more and more in detail things that you are capturing, that will be help you to create a more specific target reference architecture. I'll explain you in the coming videos what information we have gathered, based on which how the target reference architecture will be created. That will be shared in the coming videos also. Then based on that, we have to plan further things: data migration, application testing, operational readiness, and then deploying the making the application ready for into the operations. And then there is a continuous improvement. So I explained these things also in the previous video. You have to set clear objectives, what exactly you want to achieve with this migration, like for example scalability, performance, cost, and who should all be available for discussion. Like you should have the CISO, the CEO, and then COO, so that you should have a business support from these guys, IT manager and products team, and then delivery managers who are delivering these services to customers, and then application architects. So all these things, all these stakeholders should be there before starting off the migration, so that they are aware that what is going on. You need a business support, you need to gather information about applications, about how things are working for infra. So all these things you should make aware to stakeholders that I am working on this, I need this support, and I need business support. I need to take care about security, so that you are keeping in CISO in control, uh, informed about the things, and you can gather more and more information from these, and they can support this migration. So this I explained in the previous video. So establishing migration criteria, how I am going to improve the things, and the clear metrics, how much percentage things will be improved, budget that is allocated by the business people. So all those things you have to take care. Now we are at the comprehensive application inventory and discovery. So far I left at this point in the previous video. If you haven't seen in detail, you can view that video. So moving forward, to talk about more about application inventory and discovery, what all things you should ask to understand the application working, how the application is functioning, how the application is accepting the connections, where the traffic is flowing, ingress traffic, egress traffic. So all those details you have to get it from those diagrams. So like comprehensive documentation, right? So all these things, for example, documentation, you can ask like for HLDs of the application, of the infrastructure, low level designs of the application, and inventory of the application. So all these things you can ask from the respective spokes that are there. So based from this information gathered, you can see how application is working and what dependencies application is having on other services or other components. Sometimes how it works is, for example, we have app 1, we have app 2, and then we have application 3, we have app 4 in the same environment. So they have certain dependencies, certain connections also. They have certain communication that is enabled. They are fetching some data. There are some databases that are there installed in the application environment. So they are connecting the databases also. So all these things you have, how they are connecting on which port. For example, they are connecting on 443 port or 80 port, how they are establishing connection, what all components are there in application 1, application 2, what components are there at the network level, at the server level, what kind of servers are there. So all these things are you have to capture from these things. There are a lot more detailed things that can be discussed also, but since keeping in mind at a high level perspective, so these things need to be captured so that you can have a smooth migration based on which you can design the target reference architecture. I was discussing before that how you can design the target reference architecture, that how it will be deployed on AWS. So based on this information gathered, you that will be helpful for designing the target reference architecture. Also, you need to check the whether the applications are migration readiness is there. You should have a documented plan and execute migration without missing any critical component. So how all you can gather is, you need to check how the server components, the network components, how storage is configured, how databases are there, and how overall security is configured for these things. So all these things you need to gather. Based on, you can assess whether they are ready to migrate. We can migrate the applications, or we have to retain it over the in the existing data center or not. So all these things can be discussed once we have all those detailed information that can be gathered based on the various inventory document, LLD, HLD. In sometimes these documents are not updated. That could be another challenge. So then you have to analyze the application detail. You have to sit with the application architect who is available over there to understand how applications are working. Then you can complete HLD, LLD to ensure that your understanding is same as the application architect. Get it validated. So that's how you need to gather the information, accept the things, get it validated with the architect. So that's how you are gathering the things. So again, gathering in-depth application details and documentation, you can again ask for architecture diagram I was explaining on the previous slide. So all those, this will help you to visualize the application components, their interactions. So as I was explaining you on the previous slide, how the application configurations are there at the network level, at server level, the storage part, the database part, how the applications are secured currently. So accordingly, you can, based on that information that is gathered, based on that, you can think about the target reference architecture. So all these things are very important to gather when you are talking about applications, and when you are gathering the information. So you should ask for all these things so that you can have an in-depth understanding how application is working. And then you have to also understand the usage patterns, how application is the performance of the application, how the CPU utilization of the servers are there, how RAM utilization is of the servers, storage utilization of the server. You have to sit with the application architect and SMEs to understand what's the performance patterns of the application. Do you face any challenges? Do you face any issues with the application? Or how are you thinking about expanding the application? So all these things you should have gathered from the different people, so that you can, based on this, you can decide the target infrastructure that you are going to deploy. For example, if the CPU is already going at 90%, right? So you have to decide that the here, if we have 4 CPU, then here you can decide that we can go with for 8 virtual CPUs, so that you should bring this utilization down to acceptable level. So that's how you are designing the target reference architectures and deciding the target infrastructure on which application will be deployed. So you can understand, if you are not gathering this information, it will be a really problematic. The objectives that you have decided in the previous slides, that I'm going to improve the performance, I'm going to make the application more elastic, scalable, that will not be possible if you are not gathering all this information. Based on all this information, you can achieve all those objectives. I hope you are getting the things. In case you have any questions, concern, you can put questions in the comments for this video. I'll try to answer all those questions, and I'll try to explain them as well, so that it can help you to enhance your knowledge. So again, going a bit more into depth of the underlying infrastructure that is there for the application. So all those the hardware interfaces of the servers on which applications are deployed, how they are connected. You have to identify all those physical devices that are there involved to address the compatibility and integration issues. Sometimes applications are having so much dependency, mostly that work that we face issue in the legacy applications that are quite dependent on the underlying hardware, underlying softwares, or so that it has an in-depth dependency on those kind of things. So you have to understand in detail, if the application deployed on these kind of servers that are having a dependency, you have to understand the interfaces. Same the software interfaces, how APIs are configured, or how applications are communicating with different APIs, and how we are ensuring that we are gathering the same information, right? So all these things, like for hardware dependencies, software dependencies, and sometimes we have a third party integration. So for example, this is a application server, so it is having an integration with third party software that is running outside the premises, or maybe inside the data center, that is having a functionality dependency on this component. So you have to bring this component also into the scope of migration, and assess these third party components also, how we are going to migrate these third party components, what's the exact dependency. Then you have to think whether we can migrate this component, or we have to keep this component on the in the existing data center. Also, you have to understand who is maintaining this third party component. Is it in-house, or is it a third party vendor? Or in case this component goes down, does it having a high availability or scalability? So all these things you have to gather from while talking about the application, and gathering the information to understand each and every aspect of the application that is having dependency. Again, these just to keep the video small and create interest into the things, I am not going at this level, I am not going in very depth, so that you can understand first the first layer, then we can deep into more depth that if I talk about APIs, what kind of APIs are there, where they are configured, how they are communication are happening. When you're talking about API migration to applications with APIs onto the cloud, what things need to be kept in mind, what services can be used when we are talking about API migrations on the AWS. So all these things we will talk more in depth when we are talking about at layer 2 or layer 3 in depth discussions. So this is layer 1 discussion where I making you aware about high level things or which are very high level to understand about the overall scenario of holistical approach of the application migration. So we will talk about more in depth. So in case you are more interested, you can watch for the coming videos. I'll create more videos to talk about. For example, there are a lot of things when you talk about third-party integrations, right? So all these things will be covered in the in detail videos I'm going to create. So I hope so far it's making you sense, and you are understanding more and more details into the application, how information we are gathering. So far we have covered like when we are talking about gathering the information. Let me review what we have covered so far. So when we are talking about application and their dependencies, what comprehensive documentations we have to gather, different applications that are running, identify their dependencies, migration readiness. So we covered all these things in the previous slides. And then what documents you can ask for gathering their configuration details, what's their usage patterns, so you can decide the target infrastructure, and understand more details like about hardware, software interfaces, third-party integrations. So all these things are really, really important when you're talking about application migration, application which is running in production. It's really important. If you miss any a small part of the application, it is going to create a lot of problem when you're migrating. That will not help you to have a smooth migration. So all these things are covered in the previous slides. So moving forward, just to avoid creating a very larger videos, I'm creating a smaller videos. So far we have covered which stakeholders should be kept in mind, the holistical approach that we have to take in, and what things should be kept in mind while application migration, what information has to be gathered. So far I have covered a lot of things, right? So I am stopping here now. In the next video, I'll cover assessing application criticality and risk. I'll cover that in the next video. So far I have covered all those things in detail, and I hope that will help you to gather more and more information and enhance your knowledge. I hope it will be really helpful. In case you have any questions, concern, you can send me an email, or I'll mention the email in the description of the video, or you can mention in the comments. I'll try to answer all those questions that you have. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching the video. You can subscribe to my channel to get insights into application migration for all these valuable information. Thank you so much.